a retro gamer and hobbyist artist with a lot of nerve. Crolister, the master of Pokétch. Hi guys, Crolister here with part 9 of the Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl Let's Play. This episode will focus on the 8th and final gym in the Sinnoh region. Before I do that, though, we're gonna register some legendary Pokemon in the Pokédex so that we can qualify for the National Dex in the post-game. This episode carries off directly from the game's climax, where I had just dealt with Palkia. After the climax, after you deal with the main legendary, you go to Celestic Town, to the big house here, and talk to the village elder. She will present you with a book, and this will allow you to register Palkia in Diamond and Dialga in Pearl as a Pokemon you have seen, so that you can qualify for the National Pokédex. Next, we're gonna revisit the 3 lakes and catch the legendary Lake Trio Pokemon. Well, we're gonna catch Uxie and Azelf. Mesprit, as you know, becomes the nuisance that's a roaming legendary Pokemon. So at least you can register it as a Pokemon you have seen until you actually encounter it by chance. So we're gonna go to Lake Acuity first. That's the one from Snow Point City. There's also a patch of grass with an item in it in each of the lakes. You might want to check out for yourself. We're doing what's important right now, though. You are recommended to save the game before any legendary battle, because if you save after the battle, you can't battle it again. I'm gonna open with Raichu and use Nuzzle, and then I have a Sneasel, which will be completely immune to both Uxie and Azelf's Psychic-type attacks. And I taught it False Swipe as well, so the Sneasel False Swipe. Skip ahead to where I eventually catch it, and register it in the Pokédex. I'm thinking about using a Weavile up ahead. You get the Razor Claw in Victory Road, by the way, so, you know, get ready in advance. Now we're in Twin Leaf Town, and we're gonna go to Lake Verity. Instead of battling you, Mesprit flees from you and becomes a roaming legendary Pokemon. And then Professor Rowan will find you and talk to you about the Pokemon. After you do this, Mesprit will at least be registered as a Pokemon you have seen. If you have the Marking Map Pokétch app, you can find its location at present to help. Just keep in mind that they're always changing with literally every action you make in the game, and they're 100% promised to run away from you, on top of the low catch rate, like a legendary. To get the marking map, you get it from the businessman in the Pokétch building in Jubilife City. He gives you the memo pad after you beat Roark, and then the marking map after you beat Maylene. The marking map is the only way you can know for sure where Mesprit and then later Cresselia can be found. On my way to Lake Valor, where I will be confronting Azelf, I'm gonna be using Rock Climb to get some items we couldn't get before. Definitely not gonna use that move. I do strongly recommend you use a Dark-type Pokemon while catching Uxie and Azelf, since they can only attack with extra sensory and psychic. And Dark-types are obviously immune to psychic moves. It is extremely important for Azelf to do that, because Azelf is a massively hard hitter, with Nasty Plot as well. Uxie is more in it for the defense, and Mesprit is somewhere in between them. And I'll battle those trainers off cam if I feel like it later. I'm just looking for items. The rich boy in this building will give you a Pokétch app. The coin toss. It can be a useful app for you to have if you have trouble making decisions in real life, like I do. Let's see what the item we saw earlier was. Nah. And at the top of this section of Rock Climb segments, as a hidden item, there is a rare candy. I want to get that item as well and see what it is. Some of the Rock Climb stuffs to get to it are hard to find. The entry is right here. There's one, literally behind the building. Dream Eater, also a move I'm not going to use. Alright, now I'm going to go into Lake Valor and catch Azelf. Let me spray a Max Repel. Thunder. Alright, let's catch Azelf now. Again, a Dark-type Pokemon is strongly recommended to get Azelf, because it'll hit like a truck with Nasty Plot and its psychic moves. I got Nuzzle with Raichu, and then my Sneasel with False Swipe. Let's go. Shortly afterward, well, we got Uxie and Azelf at least. You might be tempted to use the Master Ball to get Mesprit or Cresselia. Cause we all hate roaming legendary Pokemon. That's no lie. In my Fire Red and Leaf Green playthrough I did earlier, I used the Master Ball to catch Raikou. So, you know. The fact that you have more than one to deal with in this game is, a bit nerve-wracking. So the fat guy that was forbidding access to Sunyshore City due to the blackouts is no longer here, after we've dealt with Palkia. And we can progress to the location of the final gym now. I'll battle a few trainers while I'm here. This guy just has a Luxio. We got some berries. This girl just has a Lopunny. Being careful not to hop over the ledge on accident. And it's a honey. I remember one of the houses down here is, the Pikachu house, where there's a Pokekid with 5 Pikachus that fight you there. You get a move from this rich boy. Police officers only battle you at night, remember. Then, we got a sailor and a tuber that I'll actually go ahead and fight as a double battle. Though you can't fight them individually. The tuber has a Remoraid, and the sailor has a Mantike. Which is kind of funny considering that you need a Remoraid in order to evolve Mantike into Mantine. Coincidental pair there. You definitely need to fight this sailor right here for the Pokédex. Because he has a Feebas, a Pokemon you're not assured to find on your own ever. He also has a Gastrodon and a Machoke as well. I'm gonna go and get that item before I proceed. The falling Pokemon feature is not quite as fun in this game as it was in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Agreed. As soon as you enter Sunyshore City, this red-haired guy stops you and talks to you for a bit. That's Flint, the third member of the Sinnoh Elite Four. You see that fancy market house? You can buy stickers there and get the effort ribbon for any Pokemon that has maximum effort values. And there's some random houses here and there. You see that rock formation? I believe it looks like a Snorlax. Here's a Thunderstone. I already found the Thunderstone in the Grand Underground, which is how I have a Raichu. And then this house, which you need rock climb to get up, has a scientist in it that notices your Pokétch, and will offer you apps after you show him Pokemon of specific natures. Talk to him once, and then talk to him with specific Pokemon natures in your party to get some Pokétch apps from him. He asks first to see a Pokemon of a serious nature, like my Crobat, and he'll give you the calendar. Then he wants to see a Pokemon of a naive nature, like my own Gardevoir, and he'll give you the Dot Artist app, which is a really fun one to mess around with. And then he asks for a Pokemon of a quirky nature. The Bonsly I caught in the third episode of this Let's Play, which is now a Sudowoodo, is a quirky nature. So I can get the Spinner Pokétch app, which is another one to kind of have fun with, outside of the Pokemon game itself. Alright, so, before you can take on the gym, you have to go inside the lighthouse and talk to the gym leader there. It's another similar situation to Roark being absent at first in the first gym. You can take a look inside the binoculars if you want. This will allow you to see a pretty view of the Pokemon League building. After that, just talk to Flint outside of the gym, and you should be able to go in and take it on. Give me a while to figure out where I exactly need to go here. There we go. Great, let's run in and get our 8th and final gym badge. This is an electric-type gym. You need to step on switches to turn cogs to change pads. Most of the trainers in this gym, like this one, are unavoidable. Just battle all of them anyway. You need the experience for your Pokemon. This girl just has a Pachirisu. You can also explore a brand new Grand Underground section you couldn't before once you get to Sunyshore City. In it, you can find a PowerPoint Max, as well as a Dragon Fang and a few technical machines. This guy just has a Luxio. I would have had to battle him later, if not sooner anyway. He isn't unavoidable. He has a Mr. Mime. Makes me kinda glad I taught my Lucario Flash Cannon. This Pokekid can be avoided. I'm gonna battle her anyway. She has 4 Pikachus. These Pokekids pretty much always only use Pikachu. Bit of a cliche. Though optional, I'm gonna fight you anyway, because I'm sadistic. He has a Raichu. Raichu's no joking matter to go up against, because of how fast it is. This ace trainer has a Kadabra and a Raichu. This guy has a Luxio and a B-Barrel. This guy has a Steelix and a Medicham. Just one more switch to flip here. And we can confront the gym leader now. Let's beat Volkner and get the final gym badge. He opens with a Raichu, which I said before is a very fast Pokemon. Despite how highly leveled my Pokemon are, it's still faster than my Lucario. It used a Volt Switch of any move. That coward. And for whatever reason, he switched it out for Ambipom, which, you know, normal type. And yeah, it does have a Chople Berry, so it negates super effective damage to a fighting type move. Nevertheless, I still O-code it. My Lucario still has its Shell Bell. He's gonna send Raichu right back out, so I guess I'll use Torterra and hit him with Earthquake. Surf and Chew. Missed. And it has a berry as well. Still an Oko, though. That was a pretty null sugar berry. Then he has an Octillery. I'll knock that out with my own Raichu. And then his final Pokemon is a Luxray. No Intimidate for you. And I'm not even gonna give you a chance. Close combat with how high my Lucario's physical attack is. Definitely. Alright, so with that, we beat Volkner and qualify for the final gym badge. The Beacon Badge. We can now use Waterfall as a hidden move, and all Pokemon will obey us without question for traders. Stickers. Technical machines, like always. This one gets you Charge Beam. Alright, then, after you beat the gym leader and get the badge, you want to go to the shore north of the city. This is Jasmine, one of the gym leaders from the Johto region. She visits the Sinnoh region to compete in contests and stuff. She doesn't let you pass until you beat the gym. And if you did beat the gym, she'll give you Waterfall, which is the final hidden move we need. With this, we'll be able to ascend up waterfalls. And our next destination from here would simply be the Pokemon League. Stay tuned for that in an upcoming episode.